this video, we're talking about the basics of graphing inequalities on a number line. We've been given 4 inequalities, and we've been asked to graph them on a number line. So the first inequality we have is x greater than 4. This little triangle sign that points to the right means greater than. So this means x is larger than 4. And you can think about it because the distance between this point here and this point here, this is larger than this point here. So in other words, the little triangle, the arrow, it narrows, it gets smaller, right? It narrows this way. So when it points to the right, it means greater than, x is greater than 4. If I jump down here to this example, this little line under the greater than sign means x greater than or equal to 4. So when I say x greater than or equal to 4, I mean everything larger than 4. X can be everything larger than 4, and it can also be equal to 4, which is in contrast to this inequality up here where x can be anything greater than 4, but it can't be equal to 4. When I have the little inequality sign that points the other way, the arrow points to the left instead of to the right, this means x less than 4. And you can think about it because the larger end here is toward this number and the smaller end is toward the x, which means x has to be smaller than or x has to be less than 4. So this means x can be any number smaller than 4. It can be 3, it can be 2, it can be 3.9999999. It can be any number smaller than 4, but it can't be equal to 4, which is different than this equality down here, x less than or equal to 4. Remember when we have that bar under it, it means or equal to. So this is x less than or equal to 4. So it can be any number less than 4, but it can also be equal to 4. So when I want to graph these inequalities on a number line, there's just a couple of things I need to know. When I want to graph x greater than 4, I want to find 4 on my number line, which happens to be right here. And because it's greater than and it can't be equal to, I have to draw an open circle right at the point x equals 4. That open circle indicates that x can't be equal to 4, it can only be greater than. So then I need to draw a ray coming out of this circle and extending out toward the right, because all of these numbers out toward the right here are the numbers that are greater than 4, right? 5 is greater than 4, 6 is greater than 4, 7 is greater than 4, even 4.00001 right next to this circle is greater than 4, and x can take all of those numbers. It just can't be equal to 4. Similarly, when I have x less than 4, I want an open circle because x can't be equal to 4, and then I want my ray pointing this way because I want to say that x can take on all of the values that are smaller than 4. So it can take on 3 and 2 and 1 and 0 and -1. Any of these values to the left here, even 3.99999, really close to this open circle, really close to 4, but not equal to 4. Now here's where it changes. If I want to say x greater than or equal to 4, it's going to look exactly like this first example where we had x greater than 4, except that I'm going to fill in my circle. So I'm going to color my circle in like this, my point, so that I know that x can also be equal to 4. It can also be greater than 4, so I draw my ray coming out this way. So I say that x can be all these values, and because I have the filled in circle here, it can also be equal to 4. So then, as you can probably guess already, when I say x less than or equal to 4, I'm going to draw my point here at 4. I'm going to fill it in because x can be equal to 4, but it can be anything less than 4 also. So I want all of these points here to the left that are less than 4. So that's how you graph basic inequalities on a number line.